Gladys Knight says in the film that she wasn't expecting such a big crowd. And she seems like so happy to be there. And I think really probably no one knew what to expect. And you probably didn't know what to expect when you started looking at the many hours of video. So when you first started watching these approximately 40 hours of concert footage, what did you find most surprising or most exciting?
I would say probably the Sly and the Family Stone performance is probably the most shocking to watch at the time because, up until that point,
my music
black entertainers were
his backup singer from
hyper aware of their presence in the world, even if it was the professional sense. And so kind of rule number one was always this sort of unspoken, I come in peace, I'm not a threat kind of disposition that most black people have to have in the workspace, especially during this time period. So
tell us what Sly did.
Oftentimes, Motown was especially known for like sending all their acts to charm school and whatnot, and their whole disposition was basically like, you must wear a tuxedo all the time. And, you look at David Ruffin's performance in this film, and he's wearing a wool tuxedo and a coat, scorching in the middle of July. And so the fact that Sly and the Family Stone is performing in their street clothes is such a shock to the audience. Like, to look at anyone over the age of 22, 23, they're looking at them like they're aliens. Like, wait, we never seen an intersectional band. We never seen women play the trumpet. We never seen, why is a white guy is the drummer in a black group? Like, how good is he if he's that guy? And they're not wearing suits. What's going on here? And then suddenly to watch them have more excitement than the kids at the end of the set, that to me is almost like, that should be taught in every university, like on how to really engage and perform and really have a plan that's unmarked and unprecedented and really execute it to perfection.
Had there been a concert series like this before with tens of thousands
my African American music teacher at UGA,
black people,
was
and people
Sly's
of color
backup
in a black neighborhood
from,
like Harlem
Kenya.
Before?
Besides the
she didn't do drugs.
Previous two Harlem Cultural Festival events, which wasn't hardly the size magnitude of the one that happened at Mount Morris Park, I believe that answer would be no. I do know that there were jazz festivals previous to this, but not to this very specific level in an inner city for black people.
The festival seemed to mean a lot to the people performing at it. Like Gladys Knight seems like so surprised that there's such a big crowd, and the Fifth Dimension is featured there. And I want to play a little bit of that because, Marilyn McCoo just seems, and she's like the lead singer of the group, she just seems, you film her watching the video of her performance then, and she talks about how important it was for them to perform in front of a black audience, because a lot of people thought they were white because they were considered very middle of the road, songs like Up, Up and Away. So I want to play an excerpt of their performance, of the Fifth Dimension's performance at the Harlem Cultural Festival, and mixed in this will be a clip of Marilyn McCoo watching the Fifth Dimension perform in 1969.
Gospel licks in his ad-libs. Our producer said, okay, Billy, take it to church. And Billy knew exactly what to do because Billy sang gospel in his teen years.
The Fifth Dimension, we travel all over the world. And our main purpose for traveling is just to bring
were constantly being attacked because we weren't, quote unquote, black enough. Sometimes we were called the black group with the white sound. We didn't like that. We happen to be artists who are black, and our voices sound the way they sound. And how do you color? That used to be one of our questions. How do you color a sound? That was one of the reasons why performing in Harlem was so important to us. Because we wanted our people to know what we were about. And we were hoping that they would receive us.
So that was Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis speaking over their performance, over the Fifth Dimension's performance of The Age of Aquarius, which was a big hit for them. I had no idea that they had been confused for white, that they felt so bad about not getting recognition from black audiences. It was very moving to see the significance that this had for her and for Billy Davis, and it just made me think about what it meant to the performers, you know, to be at the festival. Did you play the tape back for all the performers to get their reaction?
Pretty much. You know, a lot of it was just to jog their memory. That particular moment that we just saw with Marilyn McCoo, I realized something. You know, it was sort of an unplanned question, and I guess when I saw an entry, I investigated further, only because it's what I recognized in myself and my own career. I was commenting to Billy Davis that, you know, in all the performances I've seen of the Fifth Dimension, I've never heard you use sort of your gospel growl, your James Brown sermon preacher, hey, dig it, you know, that sort of thing. And he was just joking, like, because I was happy. Like, we've never been in front of a crowd like this before. So it brought out my inner gospel preacher thing. And, you know, and in Marilyn McCoo, you know, it just opened the door because I realized that, oh, so this is sort of like when the Roots are performing and, you know, one night we're with Beck, the next night we're with Wu-Tang Clan, one night we're with, you know, like Soundgarden, the next night, or Rage Against the Machine, the next night we're with, a Tribe Called Quest or the Fugees. And there's sort of, again, a code switching is sort of the overall theme for a lot of these black performers, where you have to change your presentation to fit the situation that you're in, to make the audience feel comfortable with you and for you to feel comfortable. And sometimes it's exhausting. So when you see her cry, it's relief of finally being accepted by your own people, which is important, but it's very exhausting, you know, like it's juggling plates in the kitchen, like 20 plates at a time. So I believe that when you see her crying, that's the exhaust feeling of a life of code switching, sort of to make people comfortable.
Questlove, for you, when you're playing for different audiences, you're doing that in part because you love so many different kinds of music, and you're so, like, musically knowledgeable and versatile, and people from all different kinds of music love you and want you to be on the same bill or to perform with you, to back them up.
Yeah.
So do you think of that as code switching or as just like being loved by different audiences?
Yes, in my heart, at the age of 50, I could say that I genuinely love every type of music you ever present to me. But I knew early that my survival in whatever world that I create really depends on my education level of what I knew, so that I could fit into that world. You know, if you're in second grade and a bunch of your white musician friends are playing like Smoke on the Water, yeah, I mean, I have to investigate and study that, you know. And that's the thing, like, I don't think I would have naturally had come to, a great example is, in order to watch Billie Jean on MTV, I had to sit through 4 hours of Def Leppard, of Phil Collins, of Thomas Dolby, you know, and I go through that in my book. Like, it's just sitting there, just waiting for Michael Jackson to come on. Suddenly, all this other music is seeping into me. And after 7 or 8 times of it coming on, you know these songs. So now it's like, okay, well, let me get the Van Halen catalog. Let me study them since I know them so well now. So I think
How close was
my
Sammy
case,
Hagar to
it
joining
was
the
a
Grateful
matter
Dead?
of social survival
How close was
and
Sammy
how to
Hagar
relate
to
to my friends
joining
at school. But
Aerosmith?
then
Or
once hip
two
hop came along, then it's
news
like, oh,
stories I
everything
saw
I've
recently.
learned, I'm just going to add in this pot of stew I'm making. So, yeah, it's in a way it's genuine love, but in a lot of ways it's survival. It's using everything I know I'm certain that if I didn't have this range of knowledge, that I probably wouldn't have been chosen to be on the Tonight Show.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, of course, because you have to know so many different kinds of music to be on
You have
the
to know
Tonight Show.
everything.
If you're just joining us, my guest is Questlove. The new documentary he directed is called Summer of Soul.
Thanks
We'll be
for
right
watching.
back.
That was good.
This is Fresh Air.